boys and girls and watchers on the interwebs. I just sat down for a few minutes and watched a few videos by my other colleagues in the Warhammer YouTubers community about the idea of monetization with YouTube content and doing that on your channel. And so I'm going to take my opportunity. I guess I have the advantage on those guys that I got to watch what they had put down, but in a way that makes my preamble a lot shorter. I'm not going to go over in detail and in depth the theorizing and topics of what they did too. Instead, I'm really going to encourage you to go and watch their videos. So once you're done here, there's several of them, and I'm going to tie links to it. This all, I guess, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. It all ties back to topic of the week that Vince Venturella had put forth on Friday for us to talk about this, and that's what brought it all up. So he's going to have links on his. So in fact, that's probably the place to start. Once you're done here, go to Vince Venturella's, and he will have links to all the other dudes under there. Now, before I launch into it, I guess I do want to make a little bit of a disclaimer, and that is to say that I might do a little bit of name dropping here of various channels just to put some examples. And I want to say that I'm not doing that because I want to single any particular guys out. There's a lot of guys that have the same sort of thoughts and the same structures here. But I also want to say that all these guys that I mentioned, I respect you all for what you do, because you are entertainers, you are content providers, and I, as a guy who does that as infrequently as I do, fully appreciate the effort, the thought, the time, and the skill that you guys all put into this. So let's be very clear about that, because I do support you guys. I think you're all wonderful at what you do. But here's how I want to launch into it. So again, there's a few thoughts that have come up, and I'm going to summarize them real quickly. Lord Tremendous had put out a video on this topic, and he discussed how he had set up a Patreon account for himself, for his channel, so that he can accept donations from people that appreciate what he does. And I think this is a fantastic idea. There is nothing there that requires you to do so. It's completely on your own volition. If you are entertained by what he does and you appreciate him and you want to encourage him to do more, it's exactly what that is. It's, you know, it's your tip jar. He calls it the virtual tip jar. So he puts it out there like a street busker or a juggler or somebody else that you come across in a street festival, and do the same. You are not obligated, and Lord T says that very much. You're not obligated, but if you like what he's got, why not? Encourage the guy. So I think that's a fantastic way to do it. He did describe, though, he's got an extra layer of extra incentive, though, which at first when he was describing how if a guy wants to put, I don't know how many dollars, I'm just going to arbitrarily say, if a guy throws him $100, then he gets to rename one of his characters that he plays in his ogre army, for example. I don't know if that's what it is, LT, so don't nail me to the cross if I got that wrong. But the idea is that I thought, geez, that's kind of like asking for money for somebody to put their tag on it. But then I thought about it afterwards. I shut the video off and I thought, he's just exploring a little bit of fun with it and finding a way to interact with his watchers. So fine, that's fine. Again, no obligation to do that. But if he gives you the opportunity and says, hey, give me X number of dollars and I'll name my child after you. I don't know how many dollars that takes, but maybe that'll happen. That's fine, right? It's harmless to you. You do it on your own volition. You're not obligated. Anthony of the HR channel put out a very thoughtful video as well, very thought-provoking video about what monetization means to how he would react as a content producer. And there's two things that he said that I want to touch on. One, when you start taking money for the things that you do, there comes with it a sense of obligation from the content producer. And the example that he used is, again, tying it into that Patreon idea, that if a person puts up, say, $1 per show, up to a maximum of 20 per month, whatever that might be, as an example, then that really incentivizes a content producer to just pump out 20 things per month. so he can get max dollars out of that. And I think he rightfully identifies that that is just kind of pandering to it a little bit, taking advantage of the system perhaps. But I also think that it would really take away from the spirit of the content that goes in there. And I think he would just, if a guy was to do that, then he would just be forcing it out. And it wouldn't amount to much content that people would continue to pay for. I think the long road of that is that unless you dedicate yourself really heavily, your quality will go down and you'll lose those Patreons who won't keep paying for it. Perhaps, right? The other thing that he had said that I also believe is quite true, and both him and Once Bitten had said this as well. OB actually had a really good lead into this in philosophizing that it's really, and the way that he summarized it, I think, was he said it's really hard to come back from free, meaning that if you offer content for free, it's very difficult to start charging people for it. Much in the same way that if I sell you something for $5, then as a discount, but then that's the deal that you get it for that much. But it's really $10. So if you ever want more, it's $10 every time. That somehow causes a resentment in the human consumer in our society, and I full on agree that that's the absolute truth. That is hard to do. So that leads us to another philosophy of a way that a YouTube content producer can do things, and that might be by dual layering things. So you have a free aspect to things, and then you may have a selection of stuff that's available for those that are subscribers, or paying subscribers, I should say. The model for this has been really well exhibited by the mini wargaming people. So they do thousands. They have thousands of videos. They have a superior amount of content. They have tens of thousands of regular subscribers to their free channel. But what they do is they sell you a subscription or a membership to the vault, they call it. And the vault is that extra pay area where you get access to all these other content videos, extra battle reports, extra commentary about mini gaming, etc., behind the scenes looks, blah, blah, blah. I don't honestly know what they have back there because I'm not a vault member myself, but I'm just saying that to illustrate that's how they make money. It really is. They are a business and they have managed to make that model for what it is. If you want to think of it in a more global sense, let's think of all these app games that are going on that you can download on your iPad these days. Right? You can play Candy Crush for free. You can play Clash of Clans for free. You can play all these variety of other things for no dollars. But if you want to be better at it, if you want to have access to more things, if you want to advance quicker, or in the case of our crossover, gain more knowledge or gain inside looks, then you pay for those. They nickel and dime you in those app games, and I don't really want to. I probably shouldn't have said that because it sounds like a negative connotation, but if you apply that to a YouTube channel, why not? It's viable. And again, I want to come back to the idea that you're not obligated, and you don't have a right to feel that they're hiding things from you either. You are still getting a bunch of their free content. But if you want extra, if you want more, if you want deeper, if you want the better stuff, supposedly, then you pay for that. But they're not denying you the free stuff anyway. So that kind of, without going too off the rails with this, and I kind of am doing this a little bit off the cuff, maybe one thing that, before I conclude, the other thing that I just watched was by Will, the creative name to stand out is his channel, and he presented the idea that if too many people do that model, like do the paywall he described it as, where you get some stuff for free, to supposedly from a marketing perspective, you get your channel name out there, you gather subscribers, you entice people to come and see your stuff, but then you up your game and do a bunch of other stuff that requires the paywall, or like what I was describing with mini wargaming. What Will's concern was that he presented was that it'll all go that way. So as soon as the major guys, the regular content producers start doing that, then all people will have to follow who are going to be regular producers, and then that will be a lack of free stuff out there, and it will just collapse in on itself. And I would say to you, Will, I don't really think that that's entirely possible. And the fundamental reason why is because most of the people that do this for free and don't monetize or don't advertise or all these other extended things, get sponsorships, make the paywall, whatever, is because we do this for ourselves. And that's where I want to come in with my perspective. That's why I do stuff for here. It was I was kind of encouraged by Malorian a few years ago to pop up this channel for the sake of the way that he described it to me. You know, try to do battle reports so that you can watch them again and learn from your mistakes and review them and think about them. Use it for your own analysis. And although I haven't done that, what I have done though is I've had it document my hobby progress, and that's meant more for me. There seemed to be a small desire for other people to get exposure to that and learn it. And if it's entertainment for you people, fantastic. If it's not, then you're not a subscriber, or you don't watch it again, or you gloss over it and it doesn't mean much to you. It's fine, because that's not what I'm in it for. So to turn that back around though, there are a number of people out there that do kind of feel that they want to get compensated for the efforts that they do. Or maybe it's not as simple as that. Maybe it's that they want to be compensated so that they can be encouraged to do more. And I would say to all those listeners out there and all those content producers, if you want to do that, if that's your desire, there is nothing in the world that's going to make me tell you that you shouldn't do that. It's your own volition. You can choose whatever channels you want to brand your product, to sell your ideas, and to get some recompense for the entertainment that you're offering. If people love your content, if they are entertained by you, then they will pay for you. And anybody out there that is watching YouTube for free that would downvote those guys because they put a plea out for some kind of monetization or donation or whatever it is, shame on you. Don't you dare think that their effort and their time and all of the hours and thought that they put into it is not worth at least asking for. Because in the end, they're not obligating you. You still have the opportunity to click that button to donate, or to click this other button to move on to the next video. Don't you dare click that down like and discourage them from asking that. And that's what I want to close with. Whatever channel you love and whatever content producers decide that they want to go down the path of to see if they can get some monetization and get some recompense for their efforts, it's fine. That's their free market and their obligation. They should certainly be allowed to do that. So that's the thought that I want to close on. Maybe a little bit of a downer and a harsh word, but in general, you know, just bear in mind when you're watching a video, you think about the effort and the time that those people put into it. And then if you decide that you still want to be a jerk and download that or write a disliking comment, then you're a worse person than them by a long shot. Good night.